The ring wasn't supposed to be real. It was just a joke between colleagues, a moment of birthday madness that wasn't meant to change everything. But as Emma stood there, her eyes reflecting the same terrified hope that Michael felt, he realized some jokes carry more truth than we ever intend them to. Michael Turner never planned on raising his daughter alone. He never expected to fall for his boss. And he certainly never imagined proposing to her as a joke on his 35th birthday, only to discover that perhaps it wasn't a joke after all. The office had fallen silent. 20 pairs of eyes watched as Emma held the plastic ring from the party favor, her smile faltering just enough for Michael to see the vulnerability behind it when she whispered, "What if I say yes?" 6 months earlier, Michael had been late again. Not dramatically late, just the 7 minutes that made the difference between dropping Lily at school on time and having to sign the tardy sheet at the front office. 7 minutes that made the difference between slipping into his desk unnoticed and walking into the morning meeting with everyone already seated. "Nice of you to join us, Michael," Emma said, her voice carrying that particular blend of professionalism and subtle disappointment that only bosses can perfect. "Sorry," he mumbled, sliding into the only remaining chair. "School drop-off." Emma nodded and continued her presentation about quarterly projections, but Michael caught the sympathetic glances from his coworkers. Everyone knew his situation: single dad, 8-year-old daughter, no family nearby to help. Most days he managed. Some days, like today, the delicate balance tipped just enough to throw everything off. After the meeting, Emma called him into her office. Michael braced himself for the reprimand he knew was coming. 3 tardies in 2 weeks wasn't a good look, even with his circumstances. "Close the door," Emma said, settling behind her desk. At 38, Emma Chen had become the youngest department head in the company's history. She was fair but exacting, with a reputation for running the tightest ship in marketing. Michael sat down, already formulating his apology. "I need to talk to you about your schedule," she began. "I know, and I'm sorry about being late. Lily had a meltdown about her science project, and then there was traffic, and..." Emma held up her hand. "I'm not reprimanding you, Michael. I'm offering a solution." He blinked. "A solution? You're one of our best content strategists. Your work is excellent when you're here. But I can see you're struggling with the rigid 9 to 5. Michael's stomach dropped. Was this a gentle lead-up to letting him go? "I'd like to offer you flexible hours," Emma continued. "Come in after you drop Lily off. Stay later if needed, or take work home. As long as you meet your deadlines and attend critical meetings, I don't care when you do the work." The relief was so sudden and complete that Michael almost laughed. "Are you serious?" "Completely. This isn't special treatment, it's practical management. I need your best work, not your punctuality." "I don't know what to say." Emma smiled, a rare full smile that transformed her usually serious face. "Say you'll stop looking so stressed every morning. It's affecting team morale." That was the first time Michael really saw Emma, not as his intimidating boss, but as a person with unexpected kindness behind her professional exterior. The flexible schedule changed everything. Michael stopped rushing Lily through breakfast, no longer snapped at her to hurry up, and actually had time to help with her homework in the mornings when she needed it. The constant knot of anxiety in his chest began to loosen. At work, he found himself seeking out Emma's company. What started as gratitude evolved into genuine respect, and then something more complicated. He noticed things he hadn't before: how she always remembered everyone's coffee orders, how she defended her team fiercely to upper management, how her laugh, rare as it was, seemed to light up the entire office. One evening, working late to finish a presentation, Michael found Emma still at her desk when everyone else had gone home. "You're still here?" he asked, pausing at her door. She looked up, seeming almost startled to find someone else in the office. "Just wrapping up some budget reports." "You?" "Finishing the Hartman proposal. Lily's at a sleepover, so I figured I'd get ahead." Emma nodded, then hesitated. Have you eaten? Not since lunch. I was thinking of ordering something. Would you want to join me? We could go over the Hartman numbers while we eat. It wasn't a date. It was two colleagues sharing a meal while working. But as they sat in her office, containers of Thai food between them, their conversation drifted from work to books they'd read recently, to Lily's science fair project, to Emma's journey from intern to department head. It can't be easy, Emma said, doing all this on your own. Michael twirled noodles around his fork. It's been 4 years since Sarah left. You adapt. Left? Emma's question was gentle, not prying. She decided parenthood wasn't for her after all. Said she felt trapped. Last I heard, she was in Seattle with a new boyfriend. He shrugged, the old pain dulled by time. She sends birthday cards to Lily. Calls sometimes. That must be hard for Lily. Kids are resilient. More than we give them credit for. He looked up. What about you? Ever been close to the whole marriage and kids thing? A shadow crossed Emma's face. Engaged once. It didn't work out. I'm sorry. Don't be. He wanted me to be someone I'm not. Someone who would put her career second. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Some people can't handle a woman who out-earns them. Michael nodded. His loss. Their eyes met across the desk, and for a moment, something unspoken passed between them. Then Emma cleared her throat and turned back to her computer. We should probably get back to these numbers. But something had shifted. A door had opened, just a crack. Over the next few months, Michael and Emma fell into a comfortable rhythm. She became Lily's unofficial math tutor when the third-grade curriculum proved challenging. He became her sounding board for difficult management decisions. They maintained professional boundaries at work, but the line between boss and friend had blurred considerably. Then came the Carter account crisis. Their biggest client was threatening to walk over a miscommunication about campaign deliverables. The entire team was working overtime, stress levels through the roof. On the third night of what had become a rescue operation, Michael found Emma alone in the conference room, surrounded by printouts and looking defeated. Hey, he said softly. Everyone's gone home. You should too. I can't. If we lose Carter, there will be layoffs. I won't let that happen to my team. Michael sat down beside her. Our team. And we won't lose them. How can you be so sure? Because you're the most capable person I've ever met. And because I have an idea. They worked until midnight, rebuilding the campaign from the ground up. When they finally had a solid plan, Emma leaned back in her chair, exhaustion evident in every line of her body. Thank you, she said simply. For what? For believing we could fix this. For staying. That's what friends do. She looked at him then, really looked at him, and Michael felt something electric pass between them. For a wild moment, he thought she might lean forward, that he might close the distance between them. Instead, she stood up. We should go home. Big presentation tomorrow. The moment passed, but it left an afterimage, like looking at the sun and then closing your eyes. The Carter crisis was averted. The client stayed. The team celebrated with champagne in the office, and Emma received accolades from the executive team. Through it all, she made sure Michael's contribution was recognized. We couldn't have done it without Michael's strategic pivot, she told the CEO during the celebration. He saw a solution when I was too deep in the problem. Later, as the party wound down, she found him by the window, watching the city lights. You didn't have to do that, he said. Give me so much credit. I only stated facts. You saved the account. We saved it. Together. She smiled, and this time it reached her eyes. Yes, we did. There was that feeling again, like standing on the edge of something important. But they were at work, surrounded by colleagues, and the moment slipped away once more. Michael's birthday fell on a Friday that year. He hadn't mentioned it to anyone at work. Birthdays had become more about Lily's excitement than his own. But somehow, Emma had found out. He arrived that morning to find his desk decorated with balloons and a small wrapped package sitting next to his keyboard. The card simply read, "Happy Birthday. E." Inside the box was a leather-bound notebook, the kind he'd admired in a store window when they'd gone for coffee the week before. He hadn't even realized she'd noticed. At lunch, Emma appeared at his desk. "The team wants to take you out for birthday drinks after work. I've already arranged for Mrs. Rodriguez to watch Lily until 9. Michael was touched. "You called my neighbor? I hope that's not overstepping. I found her number in your emergency contact file." It should have felt like an invasion of privacy. Instead, it felt like care. The team gathered at a nearby bar after work. There were drinks and jokes and a cake someone had brought from the bakery down the street. Michael couldn't remember the last time he'd celebrated his birthday with adults. As the evening progressed, people began to drift away, home to families, off to other Friday night plans. Eventually, only Michael and Emma remained, sitting at a high-top table with the remnants of the celebration around them. "Thank you for this," Michael said. "It was. I needed it more than I realized." "Everyone deserves to be celebrated," Emma replied, twirling the stem of her wine glass. "Especially the people who spend most of their time taking care of others." The bar had a small dance floor, and the music had shifted from the happy hour playlist to something slower, more intimate. A few couples swayed together in the dim light. "Would you like to dance?" The words were out of Michael's mouth before he could reconsider. Emma looked surprised, then pleased. "I'd like that." They moved to the dance floor, and Michael gently placed his hand on her waist. They began to sway to the music, a careful distance between them at first. But as the song continued, that distance gradually disappeared. "I haven't danced with anyone in a long time," Emma admitted, her voice soft near his ear. "Me neither. I'm probably terrible at it." "You're doing fine." She looked up at him, her expression open in a way he rarely saw at work. "Better than fine." The song ended, but they didn't move apart. In the brief silence before the next track began, Emma reached into her pocket and pulled out a small plastic ring, the kind that might come from a party favor or a child's toy. "I almost forgot," she said with a smile. "Your final birthday present." Michael took the ring, laughing. "What's this?" "Every birthday boy needs something ridiculous. It was either this or a tiara, and I didn't think you'd appreciate the tiara in front of the team." Perhaps it was the wine, or the warmth of the evening, or the way she was looking at him, like he was someone special, someone worth seeing. Whatever the reason, Michael found himself dropping to one knee, right there on the dance floor, holding up the plastic ring. "Emma Chen," he said, his voice playful but with an undercurrent of something more serious, "will you marry me?" He expected her to laugh, to roll her eyes, to play along with the joke. Instead, her smile faltered, replaced by an expression so vulnerable it took his breath away. "What if I say yes?" she whispered. The world seemed to stop. The music faded to background noise. Michael stared up at her, suddenly aware that his heart was pounding so hard she must be able to hear it. He began, but was interrupted by the bartender announcing last call. The spell broke. Emma stepped back, her professional mask sliding back into place so quickly Michael almost wondered if he'd imagined the whole exchange. "We should probably go," she said, her voice steady again. "It's getting late." The ride home was quiet, each lost in their own thoughts. When the taxi pulled up to Michael's house, he turned to her. "Emma, about what happened?" "It's fine," she cut him off. "It was just a birthday joke. No need to make it awkward." But it wasn't fine. And they both knew it. The weekend passed in a blur of birthday activities with Lily, the zoo, her choice of movies, too much ice cream. But Michael's mind kept returning to that moment on the dance floor, to Emma's whispered question and the look in her eyes. By Monday morning, he'd convinced himself he'd misread the situation. Emma was his boss. They were friends, yes, but anything more would be complicated, potentially disastrous for both their careers. He arrived at work determined to act normal, to pretend nothing had happened. But Emma wasn't there. Her office was dark, her calendar blocked off with "out of office" for the entire day. "Where's Emma?" he asked Jen, her assistant. "Personal day," Jen replied with a shrug. "She never takes those. Must be something important." Michael tried to focus on work, but his concentration was shot. By lunchtime, he'd made so little progress that he decided to take a walk to clear his head. He found himself at the small park near their office building, the one where they sometimes ate lunch when the weather was nice. And there, sitting on a bench by the pond, was Emma. She looked up as he approached, not surprised to see him, as if she'd been waiting. "I thought you took a personal day," he said, sitting down beside her. "I did. I needed to think." "About Friday night?" She nodded, her gaze fixed on the water. "I've spent my entire career being careful. Never dating colleagues. Never mixing personal and professional. Always maintaining boundaries. I know. I'm sorry if I crossed a line with the joke. It was inappropriate." "That's just it, Michael." She finally turned to look at him. "I don't think it was a joke. Not entirely. And my response definitely wasn't." The admission hung between them, too important to be dismissed, too fragile to be examined in the harsh light of day. "What are you saying, Emma?" "I'm saying that I care about you. More than I should, given our professional relationship. And I hope, you might feel the same way." Michael's heart raced. "I do. I have for a while now. So what do we do about it? I'm still your boss. There are company policies, professional ethics to consider." "I could transfer to another department," Michael suggested. "Or look for another job. I don't want you to leave the team. You're too valuable." "More valuable than this? Than us?" Emma was quiet for a long moment. "I don't know. That's what I've been sitting here trying to figure out." Michael took her hand, a bold move that surprised them both. "What if we take it slow? Keep things professional at work, but see where this goes outside the office? We're both adults. We can handle it. And if it doesn't work out? If we end up hurting each other? Then we deal with that if it happens. But Emma, what if it does work? What if this is something real?" She looked down at their joined hands. "I'm scared," she admitted. "Not just of the professional complications. Of all of it. I haven't let anyone get close in a long time. Neither have I. Not since Sarah left. But maybe that's all the more reason to try." A small smile tugged at the corner of her mouth. "You're very persuasive, you know. No wonder you're so good at your job. Is that a yes? To seeing where this goes?" Emma took a deep breath. "It's a yes to dinner. Friday night. A real date, not a work meeting disguised as one. We can start there." Michael felt a surge of joy so intense it was almost dizzying. "I'll need to find a sitter for Lily." "Actually," Emma said, her smile growing, "I was thinking we could include her. That pizza place she's always talking about, with the arcade games? I thought maybe, if we're going to try this, we should be clear about what this includes." The thoughtfulness of the suggestion, acknowledging Lily as an essential part of the equation from the very beginning, made Michael's throat tight with emotion. "She'd love that," he managed. "So would I." Their first official date was nothing like the romantic dinners Michael had imagined when he'd allowed himself to think about Emma that way. It was loud, chaotic, and involved far too much greasy pizza and flashing arcade lights. Lily beat them both at skee-ball and consumed her weight in root beer. It was perfect.